So, and here we are back again after the break. So actually what I forgot to say at the beginning, I hope you all had a great Christmas. I just came like 1 hour or so back from my family, Christmas dinner and all that. Yeah, you get it. So I hope you still enjoyed that if you celebrated and all that. So let's get to kind of the recap of the year, and I want to actually quickly maybe talk about the channel, how it went all down and all that. So what I have planned for next year or what I have for hopes. So the first thing to talk about would be the subs. I am at about 950 or so, 9,750 or so. So if things go according to plan, early 2016, sometime in January, I should cross the 10K line. And it was a big goal for me, definitely. But I also have to say that like I already once said, I am a little bit disappointed that it took me so long and especially needed so many videos, because I will have about 330 videos up to that point, maybe even more so. And then if I just see channels with 60 videos having 80,000, so it is a little bit disheartening. Of course, I have to see one thing. My quality level is way lower. My progression level was very slow, because okay, so if I see videos from about 2 years ago and check them now, there's a huge, let me quickly adjust it once, just a little bit. There is a huge difference in my quality. I improved definitely my speech and all that did improve, the quality of the video, the quality of the audio, but it happened very slowly, very progressing, very a little bit too slow in my opinion. Because okay, let's see, like this, even half a year ago, before I got this camera or so, it was still a big difference. And what I actually noticed, and I'm not quite sure who it said this time, if it was Dean or John, they will know each other, whoever it was will know, said that my consistency or the way I do the videos, the style of the videos is even more inconsistent than Apple's opinion, because they say sometimes something and like a year later they say the complete opposite, and this is what my style looks like. And I completely agree, but I think that has mostly to do with that I know. Let me quit. Yes, that was annoying me all the time. I have some harsh light here from the side and it always reflects so bad, but it didn't really help. So I'm very inconsistent, but I know that my style is very odd, because I jump around a lot of times. I think I had like at least 4 or 5 major changes in the way I do my reviews and all that. But it's mostly just not to make it too stale. I don't want it to get boring for me, because still this channel is a hobby for me and I want to enjoy it. And these videos are the ones that I enjoy the most. And that's why I don't care at all if I mess anything up in here. And this is something that is actually a plan for 2016, to bring more into the reviews, because whenever I did some of these one take videos, and I got a few comments on it that they like it because it seems even more so, they notice that I feel more relaxed in front of the camera and all that. Because what I noticed, when I do more takes of one thing, of the recap for example, and I do it over and over again, it's kind of like having it memorized, and then it just doesn't feel as natural, as genuine anymore, and feels like rehearsed. And this is something that I want to go away from in 2016, make more of these. I think I want to try this for really longer, these one take reviews. They are a little bit more clumsy, they are a little bit less professional, but they are way easier for me to make, but also in the end a lot more, I'm not quite sure how I should say it, giving back. They give me so much more back afterwards, because whenever I watch a review, there are 2 things where I have feelings about. One, after I recorded the review, and then the feeling, did I have a good review? Did I make a good review? And then I have the feeling afterwards, did I enjoy making this review? And this is the part where is getting slowly and slowly a little bit in the background, because I feel good about a video if everything works properly, if I have done many takes and took out the best, then I am okay with the product. But thinking a little bit back then afterwards, or in thinking about the next video, I think so, I didn't really enjoy making these videos, because you noticed that maybe if you saw some of the other ramblings, that there were like in the past few weeks just 3 or 4 reviews where I said I can't do it anymore. I made like 50 takes and I was close to getting crazy. And these videos, they are definitely not the fun anymore. And I didn't really enjoy making these. They were like kind of a job, because I had to get them out to get the review units back. And I definitely didn't enjoy that as much as, for example, I did one of the last one-take reviews. Which one was it, for example? The Neo. I took one take, it was super fastly done. The video was a little bit longer, there was maybe a little bit more repetition and all that, but in the end I was still fine with the end product, but I was so much more relaxed, I was so much happier to see that, and this is what I definitely want to translate over to the video even more so next year, because these ramblings, I think I will, because I couldn't most probably be any more loose here in front, because this is the time where I can be completely myself. And as you saw, I moved so much around with the camera, I moved so much around with the microphone, even forgot it for half the time. I think that part I will have to boost the audio, so it could get a little bit flaky. I did show off the PC in the pretty much most amateurish way, because you just saw one perspective, not really much more. You didn't properly see the case and all that, but I don't care, because I know the people who watch these videos, they don't care either. They just kind of enjoy me enjoying doing it. And that is something that I really appreciated. And also the people who reshare every video on Twitter, like, no, I don't want to call out any names. The people I mean know it, because there are like 2 or 3 people who reshare every video, if it's on G+, on YouTube, or on Twitter. So an extra big thanks to those, and I'm pretty sure they know who I mean, but also all the people who regularly comment on all the videos, because these are the people I make these videos, and these people I never saw complaining about the amateur style. They actually saw I like you just rambling about it and all that. So I'm not even quite sure what I was actually intending to say with this part. So I wanted to say what the year was about, even though I was actually talking more about what is happening. But what I saw this year, what was actually really satisfying, that I got the big brands on board to give me review units. That would be, I think, this year. I'm not quite sure what was already last year or what came this year, but I'm pretty happy that I got Samsung on board, and actually quite in time with devices. I don't have to wait too long. Okay, it's too long to be still relevant really for the bigger numbers of views, but it's totally fine, because I still don't get them too far off. LG, which I'm usually getting also quite in time, unless it's not a G4 that took me like more than half a year. Then there is Sony that I just got one review on it, and it doesn't seem so good. So I think I will have to make a big jump in terms of subscribers, views, or maybe repetition or reputation or anything like that, because whenever I ask them for new reviews, they never tell me, no, you won't get any. They say, oh, at the moment we just don't have any. Oh, I'm just waiting for the postman to arrive with new devices. Oh, I'm just waiting. So it feels like an excuse, and I have the feeling that they don't really want to give me out any review units. Or maybe if it's pretty much no one that wants a certain review, and then I can have one, because otherwise I'm not honestly believing that after, I think the Sony Z compact that I got to review, it was like, let's say May, that since May up to December, they didn't have any device to review. They could have gotten me the Z4 tablet or the Z3 Plus or anything like that, but when I asked just before the year, wishing them a nice Christmas and Happy New Year, they told me that, yeah, it doesn't work out this year anymore, let's try it next year. And so I don't think I have them on board. Huawei is something that I get quite in time, which is really nice, because they are slowly getting bigger here in Europe, or maybe in the US as well. So that's nice to have. And Google so far seems okay, because I actually got the Nexus from Google itself and not from LG. I think from LG I would have to wait longer. So I hope maybe to get the Nexus 6P early, but I also have to say that they didn't have it quite yet, because no shop has it still. Huawei at least doesn't have one yet. I hope Google will have one. So I'm quite expectant actually if I will get it from Huawei or from Google itself, who will have it first or who is willing to give it to me first. That is something that I'm really interested to see in. But I got those two. I will also I got HTC once again, even though I had them already a little bit early this year, but then they changed press agencies, but I got on board with the new one as well. So early next year, it didn't work out this year anymore. I should get the A9. I should get the Nexus 9 once again because I wanted to make a re-review of it, just because back then when I had it, it was with an early 5.0, and now with 6.01, I want to give it another shot and see if it's still worth, or if it's now maybe even more so worth the money, since the prices dropped quite a bit, just to see also how it compares with all the newer, better flagships. And again, so what else do I have? Chinese brands didn't work out for me at all, because GearBest offered me, I reviewed the Chewy, and they told me if it gets good amount of use, we can look for other more higher priced devices, but they didn't get back to me, so I think I can ditch that. That won't happen anymore. There were a few, 2 or 3 Chinese brands that offered me to send me phones. They offered me, and it never happened, because they said, yeah, you want this, it's coming out soon, end of the month you will get it. Never happened. When I then saw people getting those devices already, I asked, can I get it now? Oh, sorry, you missed the first shipment, you will have for the next one, but then you are there. And, so I don't expect here much anything either, but it's okay. What else? Dell is still the one big that I get my device quite early, and the Dell XPS 15 and all that I should get next year. The Dell XPS 14 I am not interested in all, because I reviewed it 2 times already. Didn't impress me at all, even though everyone says it's the best 13-inch. I tend to disagree. I think it's slightly above average, and I wouldn't pay for it. I think it's not worth the money still, because the QHD display is nice, but the battery life is shit, and the display on the 1080p version just isn't good, and the battery life isn't still amazing yet. Okay, now with the Skylake it should be a bit more efficient, better battery life and so on, but no. But yeah, Dell is still there. Toshiba has slightly slowed down, because the last 2 times I asked for it, I didn't get anything. And sorry, I am a little bit, my nose is a little bit sore, because I have this odd little nose itch that no doctor can find out what it is, but I'm scratching my nose all day like a cocaine addict, and no dermatologist or nose doctor, I'm not quite sure how it's called, can find the reason for this itch, and I have no idea what it is, but it drives me crazy. It sometimes is visible on the video, because sometimes my nose is completely red, but that's an odd glitch that I also have with my eyes, because of my glasses actually, because since I was 12 to 24 I wear glasses, and I hated every day of it, and I had like the spasms. And maybe some of you have, I'm actually surprised that pretty much no person that I know personally that talked to me and all that never really noticed this what I think I do sometimes. It has gotten a little bit better over time, but considering that I made my laser surgery for my eyes like 10 years ago, so I have been wearing glasses for 12 years, and now it's 10 years without, and I still can't get the spasm out of my way. So yeah, and I think I won't ever be able to ready, but because that one also is quite a lot of times already did get off my self-confidence, because back with my since I had glasses, when I had to talk with a person face to face, I was very embarrassed, because I wasn't like every 20 seconds I did something like this, or did correct the nose, the glasses and all that. And I don't know, I am actually surprised that more people don't see this, because if I talk to someone, I see every little thing. But if most of the people, when I actually was talking to someone who knows me for like 6-7 years right now, did I say 6 years? 6 years already, and I mentioned it once to him. He said, what tic? And I said, yeah, that with my eyes. And he said, I never even noticed. And I was surprised, because I think it's very, very obvious. I'm not so happy with the lighting today, but it's okay. So this video is also already 14 with the 18 plus. I'm well over half an hour. So what I will do right now is just make it about a 40-minute video. So it will be a big end of the year video. It's not the last video of the year. I think I will make some more, and the review of the Nexus 5X will drop as well. Also the LG G Pad 2 10.1. Quite a nice device, but completely overpriced. But I will talk about that because Snapdragon 800 10-inch 1080p display, so solid high specs, but it costs about what an iPad Air 2 costs, and it's totally 2-year-old hardware, so I'm not quite sure what they thought with the price. Okay, it's an LTE version, which costs usually more, but I think it's overpriced by at least $100. But otherwise, it's a really nice device. A review of that will come as well this year, so I will just take all the time here to make this video a little bit longer, to enjoy it, to kind of finish off the video. I'm not quite sure if there will be another rambling before next year, because of the days. Let's see. So today's the 26th. First would be Saturday. So maybe I will squeeze another rambling, maybe end of next week or so. But I wanted to just share you. Yeah, and thanks a lot for sticking with me the whole year. 10K is still definitely there, and yes, I didn't really have any big topics this time. So if you quickly want to round up some few things, like I already said very early in the beginning of the year, 2015 for me was the skip year. If you had a quite recent 2014 flagship, I would say, if you haven't already, I wouldn't upgrade anymore this year. And I that's why I had a hard time, even after a good review of a device, and people asked me, should I get this or should I get this? I always said, if go for this, but personally I wouldn't get anything, because I still think it's the ditch year. If there would be a device you really have to switch to, I think the only ones that are worth switching to would be the Nexus 6P, even though I haven't reviewed it yet, but from all I hear, it can't be not even convincing me. So I'm pretty sure that even I will be blown away once I get it. Then the Note 5 definitely is one of those phones for me. Then maybe the Mate S definitely would be worth it. If you want to pay a little bit less, then maybe something like the A5 or the S5 Neo. I think did I say A5? I didn't mean S5, I meant A5. A5 and S5 Neo, definitely two phones that are well worth the money in this price region. But otherwise, all the other phones, the G4, as nice as it is, it really has some great qualities, isn't enough for me to switch from something that I bought last year. Same goes for the Z4, Z5, the Moto X even though those are all great phones, I don't think it was any much of a real step forward compared to last year, because all those phones were already quite capable. And I see this on the LG G Pad. It has a Snapdragon 800, which is 2 years out already, and it still performs pretty much on the level as all the flagships did this year. There's not a huge difference, so it's just not worth the jump. But I think next year, the Snapdragon 820, if it's anything like from what we hear right now, and the new Exynos and the new Kirin, I think these will make a way bigger step forward. Okay, what we have had this year was quick charge. That improved that along, but therefore I think in general we can say that the battery life was way worse this year than it was last year, because the Z5 or Z3 is the best example. The Z3, Sony Xperia Z3, when it came out, had battery life ranging from 6 to 8 hours, and the successor, the Z3 Plus, Z4 and Z5 had maybe like 4 hours, 4.5 hours, and this was a common thing. The S6 had a lot less than the S5, the M9 had a lot less than the M4, the G4 actually wasn't worse, and the Motos were actually maybe a little bit better, but only because it was very bad last year. So I think battery was the one thing that suffered the most in 2014, but battery charge did improve. Performance didn't really improve. Cameras did improve a lot. So if a camera is really important for you, that one definitely would make it up worth changing. But I'm pretty sure that next year will make it up for everything, because you will get even better charging times. I'm pretty sure the battery life will be at least on a 2014 level again. Performance will be great. Camera, everyone seems to know how important the build design and overall feel in the hand is, so that one should get better with more metal design, even though I wouldn't even need that, but it definitely, if done right, is definitely great. Sound has improved a lot, because 2014 pretty much all speakers, if it wasn't maybe a Motorola or on a Nexus device, which actually was a Motorola, sound was blech. In 2015, already pretty much every phone, except a few little exceptions, was really, really solid in terms of sound. And I think this will just improve in 16, and I hope we get a lot more stereo front facing, like in the Moto X Pure, or yeah, that phone. Actually, we did see, because HTC seems to go away from it, and so. But I really hope for LG and Samsung to finally. Okay, on the S7 it won't happen, but the speaker was very good as well, so I would be fine on the bottom. But I would really hope for LG to bring the speaker at least away from the back. It should be at least on the bottom, if not front. That would make the biggest difference for me. So that's it in terms of phones. In terms of tablets, most people don't seem to have any interest in them, but I do. I like them a lot, and I think with the Galaxy S2, Tab S2, they made a great tablet. It's definitely worth. The R2 is worth it. So these were the two bigger phones that I would definitely recommend. If you want a smaller one, the Tab S2 8.7.9 actually would be worth it. The iPad Mini would be worth it. The Shield, of course, the Shield K1 with the recent price drop is definitely well worth it. So we are well situated on the tablet side, I would say. Then wearables, still nothing that interests me at all. I just personally don't see the functionality of it yet, because the notifications I get, I can't really reply on it or do anything yet on the smartwatch. So in the coming future, I don't see a huge change in there. They will be more capable, and if you already like what they do right now, and if it works for you, I think it will get even better. But if a smartwatch wasn't anything for you, because I also know a few people that just don't see the purpose of it yet, and if you are one of those, I don't think 2016 will change anything here as well. Laptops, with the Skylake, we should see even more better devices out there you got that. Those should be a lot stronger with the better performance, better battery life, better screens. And I'm pretty sure that Apple will come out with a GPU this time, with a discrete graphics in their new MacBook Pro, because just relying on Iris won't be enough, since we see already Ultrabooks having GPUs integrated. So that, I think, will have to come, not just in the 15-inch version, but also in the 13-inch version. That's it for laptops, smartwatches, phones, PCs. Yeah, I'm not quite sure if the PC is kind of making a comeback, because for me it's right now very big, because I finally have one here in the studio as well, which should improve my workflow, because now I don't have to sit on my MacBook again. It's way faster in overall. I can upload from here with the faster add-on. I just have to get my Ethernet cable to there, because right now here my Wi-Fi is way too slow. But that's it. Video is now about 40 minutes. Maybe I should have cut off the part with the PC, but like once again, you can just skip that. So I think I will actually make a little bit of an intro, because this was the oddest and longest and weirdest rambling of them all. But I think I will have to make up for that with a new rambling, let's say maybe Wednesday, Thursday, with a proper one, because this one was so well, because I now noticed that a little bit preparation would have been nice, because I was all over the place at all topics. I didn't really, so I like to be unprepared, but not that much, because if I have at least a topic, I know what to talk about. But if I have to think of the topic, and then yeah, okay, that wasn't a good idea. But since most of you, I think, actually even watch these videos still in the background, it doesn't matter so much that I ramble along, but I enjoyed it once again. I really like these, and I will definitely continue even more so doing these, because I noticed that some of my reviews get less views than these ramblings. So even though it's maybe like solid 500 to 800 views of every rambling, that's huge step up, because before I made those ramblings the first time, they got like 200. And my goal for 2016 is actually, one of my big goals would be to get solid 1K for every video, for every rambling, because it's definitely not asked for too much if I have then, let's say, 10k and rising, and can't even get a K views on these videos. Okay, that would be actually 10% of all the viewers, of all the subscribers, which is already a lot, but I want to have a little bit stronger core base that watch these videos and not just the reviews, because the reviews I noticed don't work so well anymore. Since I get the review units way too late, I noticed a decline in the popular phones. Never worked for me because I get them way too late and then they don't matter anymore. So it is pretty much what I noticed this year. Definitely this year was the year of the mid-range phone, not just for the market but also for me, because all the lower end and budget phones that are reviewed that I also got more in time were my most successful videos this year, because they aren't just covered as much. All the big channels, they cover all the flagship devices, and no one really looks, except of a few sites that do all the devices, that really check everything, because they have a big amount of people working for it, and that's why I have quite good chances in terms of mid-range. And actually these videos don't get too many views from my subscribers, because most of my subscribers want the flagships as well, and once I get those, it's this little core that still watches these videos but doesn't really care for the rest. So I gotta say, thinking back in retrospective, if that's the right word, my channel is really odd, because I cover a big spectrum of devices, from laptops to a little few gadgets to smartphones and tablets, from a higher price segment to the lower segment, and all that for just one person doing it on the free time. It's odd, because I think it's better to look for a niche and make that, cover that as best as you can, and not be all over the place as I am. Of course, also if I would have higher quality, I would improve, but I'm fine with that, because what I'm not planning on next year, planning a whole lot in terms of the review process. I'm fine with the way it is, intro, detailed part, and the recap. I think the recap actually on its own would already be enough of a review, but I'm not convinced, because I wanted to do it, make the recap and then mix in B-roll, but I just don't want to skip the detailed part as well, because I don't think I could make both work. I couldn't make a more detailed recap, put all the footage in, not to sacrifice any details, but I can't make the detail part without the recap, because I still want everyone to just skip that if you want to and get to the core of the things. And that's why I think for me, I always want to make reviews the way I want to see them, and my way is I want to get all the little details, or the ones I cover, which are maybe always all the details, but the more in-depth style, to get that covered. So if I want to know more, I have that. But if I know the channel makes this detailed and recap part, and I just briefly want to know something about a device, if it's even worth thinking about it, I would just watch the recap, know if I'm interested in, if it's something that is worth considering, and then I just watch the detailed part again. And that's why I will stick with that as well. That's just the way that works for me. And this video is way too long. Oh man. So once again, thanks you very much for sticking with me the whole year. I hope I will grow a little bit faster next year, because now my goal for this year that I didn't reach was 10k, which I should reach early next year if nothing happens. And now I could say my next big goal is 20k, but actually if I at next point this year, at the same time this year, let's say in 1 year, if I'm then at 20k, it would be nice to be at 20k, definitely, but it's also not good enough, because if I consider I made like, I'm not quite sure, but I just a guess, I'm not quite sure, let's say 150 videos this year, or almost 200 videos a year. Let's say 150 should be safe. I'm pretty sure I did that many. And I would consider that I next time then would almost, with the current ones, have like 500 videos in total, and then have 20k. That would show me that I'm just not meant to be bigger, because then it's a thing that will stay like this. I will always be at around 10k, 20k and stay like that, because it's sometimes if I didn't make more views or more subscribers until this point, it just won't happen anymore. Because it doesn't have to happen that every channel will grow indefinitely with the same pace. Because if I would grow in the same pace, I would have, let's say, 25k next year this time, if it gradually slightly raises. But that's not how the things work. If that would happen, it would just there would be bigger jumps. And I see most channels, they started at one point and then they go quite quickly from 10 to 30 to 50 to 80 to 100. Because there was a channel that had, like, when I had about 2k, he had about 2.5k, and now he has over 100k. So in the time he jumped from 2.5 to 100 is pretty much the same time that took me from 2.5 to 10. And this shows me that they have to be bigger steps. And if these steps aren't there, then it's just not meant to be. I'm not raising indefinitely with this speed. So either next year something happens and I quickly jump from 10 to 15 to 20 to 30, or I think actually it will go down to maybe, like, at some point, let's say 15, if that happens, to maybe down, and then I will stay at some point forever, like for 15, 20, because there are also channels I know of that are on 20, 30k for 2 years already. These are channels that just don't grow anymore. Not quite sure why, because I don't really follow them, but this is the big thing that I want to see what happens next year. Either there will be a little bit of a bigger increase and I will maybe get them more devices more recently, more up in time, and then maybe start growing a little bit faster, or I will stay at this, what is it called? Yeah, I'm not quite sure. But completely lost it. Yeah, when you are in this space in between where it doesn't go upwards nor downwards, there is a word for that. There is a place called, but I'm not quite sure about that. So this is the one thing that I will have to see about. I personally think it will be the latter one, the thing in staying in this kind of in between place. But I would definitely wish for the bigger thing to happen. But I have to agree, because my my style just doesn't appeal to too many. If I would go definitely more pro, which I just can't, and that's the one thing that I always had. I already knew that right from the start. With yes, everyone says my English is fine, better than most of others, or better than their German, and I totally get that. But just look at the YouTube market. All the big ones, they have proper English. Tell me like 5 channels with a foreign person with a not polished English who did make it. And I'm not quite sure if you can, because I don't know any of them, and I don't think that's possible. And I know there are people that don't mind it at all, especially for maybe countries that don't speak native English anyways, and even have a hard time understanding it. So they think, hey, I don't understand proper English. If I don't understand his crippled English, not so much, it doesn't really make a difference. So that's the one thing that never allowed me to be more professional. And that's why I never try to, because even if I would go the scripted way, that I just can't, because I told you so many times that I just don't enjoy making these videos. Even though I could make it, and even though if I would improve a lot of them, I would never be able to pull off a real pro video, because I have such a hard time reading out loud in English without any hiccups. I just ramble, and then sometimes it never happens. And I do it so many times until it gets fine. I just don't like to do it anymore. And like I said, for me it's still a fun project. The thing is, I do it for fun, and you should say then you shouldn't care about the success. But it's just like that, because whatever you do in every hobby, you want to get better. Because if you would play as a hobby soccer or basketball or tennis, you don't want to stay for 5 years on the same level, because then it feels like wasted time. You want to improve, you want to grow, you want to succeed. And of course I want that as well. But for me, the success is still a little bit less in the foreground. It's more in the background. The fun is still there. Because as long as I can do what I want to do and get the review devices, which is still my main factor, actually it's more not even that anymore. Because a while ago I said to myself, I'm at least happy that I get the review device and I can get to play with tech that I wouldn't be able to ever check on my own without that. And that is still the case, but it's not the most important thing for me. For me right now, what makes this even more so enjoyable for me is to share this experience with others, be able to help others on the site. Should I get this tablet? Should I get this phone? Or maybe should I get this? And of course, I would like to make more guides or tutorials, because I just like to help out people who are in search of something. But I'm just terrible in software reviews and guides and all that. But I would do that, and if I would do those, then I would do them very clumsy and very off the cuff. And I'm not quite sure if that would work out, because whenever I do those short videos, like just for the keyboard I reviewed, it didn't work out. I had to make like 30 takes, because if it's a really small review that I did because I got the device from the shop to review, then I want to make it kind of a proper review, because I don't want to see like a total amateur to get more review stuff from them. This is something that I don't think I have to do so much on review devices. Oh, it's I'm totally out of sync by now already. But yeah. So that's the thing. I think you've got it. I made my point. The video's way too long once again, but thank you so much once again, and I will make another rambling and I almost don't think I should upload this one, but I will, because it's still, and actually this is I think number 4. You know, I can't move this one without this one. It just doesn't work. I'm a cripple. So this is the 4th video of my one take only shot, and this was one take only shot. Oh man. Yeah.